Yo, this is DPS Podcast episode number 120, almost hit 20, 120. We're back again on a fine Thursday evening. We got a special guest here. Even though she's been here multiple times, she's a special guest as far as we're concerned. Because that's how she, she makes us feel. She's special. Shout out to the Ashen Luca. What's up, Luca?
What's up, guys? Luca here. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
All right. What you been up to since it's been a while since you've been on, but what we've been up to in the year 2023?
I have been uploading videos on my channel, actually.
Like all the time.
All the time now. So that's been a lot of fun. I've also been working. I work in person, so I'm out of the house 12 hours a day. And then when I get home, I work out and, do what I got to do. Make sure I'm still in bed by a reasonable time so I'm not too tired. You know what I'm saying? Just work-life balance, you know what I mean? Doing the best that I can, my boys.
All right. We talk frequently, so it's like even though we haven't been gaming too much, I still get a chance to, have a little one-on-one talk with you, Anyway, Forte, what's up, bro?
What is up, man? How are you? Well, I was gonna ask you what you've been up to. You're gonna tell us in a second anyway. But no, man, just chilling. Happy to have Mama Luca here. I feel cheated because she didn't do the whole intro. The Ashen Luca. I'm here. I didn't get all that.
She didn't do that. Yeah,
I know.
What's up?
I haven't done that in the year 2023 year, but I'll do it. Okay, what's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal. Yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here for another episode of DPS podcast with the boys.
Okay, I feel better now. All is right in the world, but
yes, sir.
But no, yeah, man, just working as I always do, and having Twitter arguments with people. I'm back in formal Twitter again.
You're having Twitter arguments and not me? Really? This is like the Twilight Zone, or like
kind of crazy.
We're living in the upside down or something.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of been like that, man. It's been interesting, but yeah, I'm happy to be here as always with you, brother, and talk about the amazing stuff that you got on deck for us.
Yeah, I do have to apologize to the chat. We do have a slight audio issues. I wanted to. So look, this is what happened, y'all. So y'all understand what happened. Like I had to reinstall Windows, and so I made a whoopsie daisy, and didn't save my OBS settings. So I had to completely rebuild my entire OBS scenes and sources and everything. And so I was supposed to do a test run before the show, and I didn't get a chance to do it, and therefore that's why we're kind of like people say the background music was too loud. I turned it down. I wasn't up high enough, which is almost never happens, but all of it's somewhat, I think, fixed. And yes, Gregor, it is somehow Forte's fault, because like whenever Forte has like audio issues, which is literally every time he hosts, he says it's my fault, so I get to say it's his fault this time. But no, for me, as you see, like I got some gameplay up right now. Gunfire Reborn is a nice little like first-person shooter roguelike that's in Game Pass. I tried it out. I mean, it's pretty fun. I mean, the shooting mechanics is better than High on Life, but I mean, like visually it ain't much, but it's a decent game. It's not bad. I've been playing that. I've been playing Forspoken. I've been playing, I have to say this quietly because I don't want those, those who troll and bully to come after me. But I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. Oh no. No, but I've been having fun. I've been playing a lot of games, and in addition to playing like Halo and Call of Duty and all that good stuff. But we can go ahead and just get into it if our guests and Forte don't have any objections. You guys good to go?
Yes, I am good to go. Sorry, I was waiting for the sirens to pass.
I was waiting for our the sirens to pass. I was waiting for our guests to go, because ladies first.
Oh, well, thank you.
She already told us what her week was like. What else was she supposed to do?
What? No. Oh my God. You asked the question, Slow Mo. You said, "Are we good?" I was waiting for the lady to speak first.
Okay, well, okay, maybe you have a point. That's fine. Anyway, okay, we're good. All right, first topic. Dragon Age Dreadwolf was leaked. Was it late last week? I think early this week. One of those. It was leaked. Which was definitely not supposed to happen. The leaker turns out to be somebody who was able to play test the game for EA and BioWare, and the footage is supposed to be. Say what?
They should ask for their time back.
Oh man, the footage is supposed to be 20 minutes long, but we really only got like a small little clip of it. I'm gonna show that real quick. And there is a lot of talk about what we've seen with the screenshots from the 20 minutes and this 5-second or 6-second clip of gameplay, in addition to some of the comments that the leaker who did the play test have said about what they experienced in the game. So real quick, I'll just go over what those details are, and then we can kind of discuss how we feel about Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which has been in development for literally forever. Combat is completely in real time and similar to a hack and slash. I'm told the guiding reference point was God of War 2018. Player has their regular combo attack and then their abilities, as well as a special bar which generates, allowing you to pull off a special move. I don't really understand the comparisons to, well, this is their commentary. They don't really understand the comparisons to the Final Fantasy 15 I guess skill wheel. It says this is standard Dragon Age ability wheel. They said there is no party control demonstrated, that it's a safe bet you will not be able to directly control your party members in the game. You will likely be able to just tell them to execute certain abilities, but as far as they know in that alpha, the ability to control your party members was locked off. They said that UI is similar to Dragon Age Inquisition, and what else do we have? All the enemies that were present in the alpha were just your typical variations of Darkspawn, and some of them had red lyrium powers, but that's pretty much about it. Now, Luca is my Dragon Age confidant, I would like to say, because me and her can get into. We'll be talking about Dragon Age. We can just find any random like tidbit of information and just end up being like an hour to 2 hour long discussion about all the details to it. So Luca, as someone who has played through all the games as much as I have, well, maybe not as much as I have, but definitely as thoroughly as I have, what are your thoughts about all this about Dragon Age Dreadwolf?
Listen, I don't listen. After Andromeda and also Anthem, I have no faith in BioWare at all. I am at this point where I'm like, well, at least I got 6 really good games from them. And it is what it is, man. I saw the gameplay and I was like, this is different. This is interesting, especially like that jump kick. I was like, whoa, what's that? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the UI looks similar to Inquisition. The helmet looks similar to stuff in Inquisition.
Yeah.
And as for the party control, if this is like alpha, like maybe it's just not built in yet. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that this game is not coming out. It's not coming out for a while. So we got to sit down, buckle up, and buckle up, Buttercup, because it's gonna be it's gonna be a very long wait. And honestly, at this point, I don't care. Like, I love Dragon Age so much. Like, between Mass Effect and Dragon Age, even though Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games ever because it's absolutely fantastic and amazing, I do prefer the Dragon Age series because I prefer that kind of setting and like the whole magic thing, I prefer to the space stuff personally, right?
I agree.
You know, it's just like for me, it's just it was just more compelling overall. Again, even though Mass Effect 2 is absolutely phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal, and I love Mass Effect 1, and I also love Mass Effect 3. Like Mass Effect 3 is a really good game. It's just that ending, just the ending. You know what I'm saying? The ending's a little shaky, right? But yeah, so for Dragon Age, after Inquisition, you know, we're supposed to be going to Tevinter, you know, which I've been looking forward to because I've been wanting to know more about Tevinter this entire time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they've spoken about it, they've hinted at it, and this concept of like the one place and the one place where, hey, you know what? It's actually perfectly okay to be a mage. In fact, we actually we're in charge. Like the one place where it's like that and not everyone is subjugated. I'm just like, okay, this is awesome. You know what I'm saying? So I was I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into that world, but as it stands right now, I'm just kind of like, we'll see what happens, because like even with the IPs they have associated with it, what is that Dragon Age Netflix show?
Oh man, Absolution, whatever. It begins with an A. I can't remember it, but it was I watched the first episode and just like the amount of times I was like, that's not how that goes, or just like, or that's not what that means. It just like made me just go like, did the writers actually play the games or even consult, read the books or even consult with the BioWare narrative? You know what, whatever. And then the fact that they did the typical main protagonist is like this like completely unlikable mean character. Like I don't know what the deal is in media now, where like they seem to have like a main protagonist that tries to be an anti-hero, just be a dick to everybody kind of person. Like that's not cool. I don't find that like that engaging, or it doesn't endear me to the character. It makes me root for the villains to kill him/her who acts like that. But like they did that and I was just like completely turned off from it. My thoughts on this is, I mean, disappointment with like not necessarily the combat, because even though I think the animation's a little herky jerky, I don't really care for the fact that they went for a God of War feel, because I mean God of War's combat's cool. But I would say this about Dragon Age: every Dragon Age game, the combat's different. If you think about it, Origins was very much old school BioWare fare. You know, queue up your attacks, the queue system. You're putting your other party members that you're not using on rails. A lot of control and strategy there. And then Dragon Age 2 was pure action, which I actually kind of think like a lot of the UI and the prompts you see on screen and some of the screenshots I saw from the character menus reminded me of Dragon Age 2, and not really Inquisition, but whatever. Mm-hmm. And Inquisition was like a mix of the action of 2 and the strategy of Origins. And so like I wasn't like, I'm not one of these people that just like don't change anything, because I expected them to have somewhat different combat, because they all have somewhat different combat. But the couple of mainstays that are always there is that you always are able to switch to another of your party members. That's always been something that you've been able to do. And you've always been able to pause the combat, reassess the battlefield, and then change strategies and stuff. Like having it be pure action and not have those aspects in it makes it far less of an RPG than it is the simply just being able to direct your party members' abilities through like orders and stuff is a Mass Effect thing, which like that's fine for Mass Effect, but that's a different series, and like I don't want all their games to blend together, you know. Like I'm not down with that. Now, I don't know if that stuff just wasn't present in the alpha, but this game's been in development for far too long for like it to be missing some of the like real mainstay things of the series.
I mean, the game's been in development for far too long to still be an alpha, man. So, you know,
Big
like
facts.
as it
6
stands
years,
right
man.
now, they've probably like rebooted it a bunch of times, and we're like, we actually don't know what we're doing with this. You know,
Yeah.
like remember when we were hearing that it wasn't gonna be in Tevinter for a bit? Like, remember? I don't know if you remember those rumors, and I was just like, oh my god! I was like, what are they doing? Like, that's. I mean, literally, that's what Inquisition. There was a knife in the map saying we're going to freaking Tevinter, man. So what's up, man?
Yeah.
So
yeah, you
for me,
can't renege on that after.
You really can't. It's especially since how the games are a continuous stream. Like, even though you're playing as different protagonists, the stories they come one after another. / they're mixed in with one another. You know what I'm saying? With like origins and to a little bit characters. You know, my sweetheart, my baby girl, my favorite character, Leliana, appears in all three. You know what I mean? So it's just like, for me, I'm over here scratching my head where it's like the main villain for Inquisition was a DLC villain with Hawk. You know what I'm saying? From Dragon Age 2. So this concept and idea that they would like even go someplace else is ridiculous to me. And so I'm just kind of like, all right, well, you know, we'll see more, and I'm just gonna wait. Like, I'm not gonna judge it too harshly based off what we've seen so far, because I'm not expecting anything from BioWare right now. Like, they've disappointed me far too many times. Fool me once, shame on them. Fool me twice, shame on them. You know what I'm saying? Still shame on them. How dare you come out with garbage? Like, explain yourself. You know what I'm saying? How dare you? Like, you listen. It is what it is. Like, it is what it is, man.
It is when you're a fan
upsetting.
of a series and you see, like, you've been waiting for forever. They did 2 teaser trailers, still haven't shown you anything substantial, and the very first thing you see that's like actual gameplay is like, hey yo, what is that? Like if someone said, hey Luca, look at this game, look at this 6-second of gameplay, what game is this? And
something on iOS.
And you just like, they didn't tell you what it was. You'd be like, I don't know. You know, like, I mean, like, would you really even know this is Dragon Age?
No. Even with like the prompts on screen, I don't know. Maybe because there's Darkspawn. I'm not sure. I don't think I would. I think
the only indicator that it's Dragon Age would be the fact that like the actual subtitle on the screen mentions Darkspawn. But other than that, like there's nothing about it that jumps out there and says, "Oh, this is Dragon Age." You know, it's just.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was a commercial of the video before the video when they played it. I was like, this isn't Dragon
Not an
Age.
iOS commercial.
That's what I thought it was. I was watching it. I was like, I thought it was like, oh, it's a commercial, and then I'm looking. I was like, oh no. This isn't a commercial. This is it. No, listen, I could care less because I'm not like you guys. You said something that really spoke to me when you talk about Mass Effect. If this was Mass Effect and I saw this, I would be livid. I don't care, because at a certain point, it's like you're thinking in my mind, like you just said, this has been in development for an entire generation almost. Like almost as long as Cyberpunk, it seems. But
like Dragon Age Inquisition came out in 2014.
In 2014.
It's 2023.
Right. So I'm looking, when I see this, I'm like, normally I don't get down on anything for alpha footage because, you know, alpha footage, you know, you don't know what kind of build it is. But I'm like, as much as I want to say that, I'm looking at it, but this is as far as you mostly have gotten with this. And yeah, it's I was like, wow, this looks like, I like how they opened up the combat. I do like how it's more it's open, like where it comes to that, it's not, you know, turn-based or anything. So I really, really like that. But in general, I just like, wow, y'all really didn't need this to get out. Y'all really, because this is the type of stuff that makes people like really lose confidence. Like, yo, you've been working on this game forever.
Confidence. But,
no, yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, you've been 0 for 2 with the last, you know, 2 big games that you came out with for the most part, and you know, at this point, people are sitting there, it's like, is this even a thing? And you keep teasing it to people, but you're not really showing them anything. So unless they come out really soon and really show some tidied up gameplay with some actual textures and animations don't look crazy, then yeah, I mean, in general, I mean, people are still going to be excited for when they see it because it's been so long. But as a person that has been a super fan of that franchise, I can understand the frustration of just this back and forth. It's like an abusive relationship with the developer at this point. Like, what the heck are you guys doing, and why aren't you doing? And they know that this. Trust me, they're having conversations in back rooms right now at the studio. Like, what do we do? Because this is not the way that we wanted our first. Even though this isn't their gameplay reveal, this is a gameplay reveal that they haven't come out and said this isn't real gameplay. They ain't said nothing like that.
Said a word. No, I mean,
said a word.
And it's been like, I did have to give proper credit. This leak came from Inside Gaming, which is Tom Henderson's website. So they said they have independently verified that this is that the gameplay footage that I was showing before. I'm now showing the Dragon Age Inquisition trailer just because I couldn't look at that gameplay any further. But the gameplay that I was showing before was indeed alpha footage from Dreadwolf, and so it's just like, I mean, they really can't deny it is what it is. And I actually kind of feel, and this is just my thoughts on it overall, that they don't really care to cater to the Dragon Age community. That like it's kind of one of those cases where a developer feels like, well, we got y'all in hand. Y'all gonna be here for us no matter what or how the game looks. We're going to develop a game that is not for the Dragon Age fan. We're going to develop a game that we think will appeal to the masses that liked God of War 2018, that liked, literally any other popular game that's been out over the past 3 or 4 years. That's what we're making this game for. You guys will just be here because you guys are always here.
Which is ridiculous in my opinion, considering like Dragon Age Inquisition, didn't that win Game of the Year?
Yes, it did win Game of the Year. So like, what?
Clearly, it's a like the Dragon Age franchise is a Game of the Year contender. You don't like. I'm all for. I'm all for like evolution. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to copy something when you're already a winner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that just means they ran out of ideas.
Well,
that's what it is. They ran out of ideas. They got a premise, but they don't know how to.
Forgive me, Forte, but if you run out of ideas, then just rely on the tried and true. They could have went back to the Dragon Age Inquisition combat, which I was just fine with. They already said they were going to Deventer, the only region in the world of Thetis that we hadn't seen yet. Like, I mean, literally everything is set up for you already to just do it. Get it done. Like, there was just really no need to make these kinds of changes unless, honestly, like what if it's just remnants of EA's influence? Because there was those reports that came out that said that like at one point Dreadwolf was supposed to be a live service game. Like, it wasn't supposed to be a traditional BioWare RPG. It was supposed to be a live service game. It was going to have a hub. It was going to have all like basically it would be always online, multiplayer. There would be no single player aspect to it. And at some point, I guess maybe with Casey Hudson quitting and Mark Dara, who was the director, quitting, I don't know. I'm speculating on that part, but they finally relented and let BioWare just be BioWare. Just like whatever you want to make.
You would think that they would have learned from oh my goodness, what was that studio called?
Respawn?
No.
Visceral?
Visceral? You would have thought like after the Dead Space 3 fiasco, in which people were like the way that they monetized that game and attempted to continuously monetize it, people were pissed, you know what I'm saying? And it killed that franchise ultimately, which is unfortunate because like you could tell they were really banking on it because they did movie spin-offs, a story spin-offs. So yeah, they were definitely it's definitely something that they wanted to continue with. But then it's like, no, we're just gonna try and force this game to be something that it's not, to continuously. It's like cut it out, man. If you just make games that people want, the money will come. I know it's a ridiculous concept, like make a game that people actually want and they'll spend money on it. Wow, that's how you'll get paid ultimately.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we've
I'm sorry,
pressed
guys.
ourselves with this topic enough. I think we can move on. We got Erodimus, who apparently isn't a fan of awesome RPGs of the past, telling us time. So I guess we'll go on to
Time to duel? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Another topic that is this one's going to be pretty interesting, I would say, especially considering a lot of the what's been going on over the past week with a lot of people out here. So Hogwarts Legacy released on Tuesday? Was it Tuesday? Like early access was Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So early access released on Tuesday, and it reviews came out on Monday, and those reviews were very, very favorable. And the game so far has been getting a lot of love from a lot of different places. And I think there's an entire community of people that were a bit upset about that. And they wanted to boycott the game. And as we've seen in the past, boycotts of video games are about as effective as the American government. So not effective at all. And it has not deterred this game one bit. It's got great reviews. People are enjoying it, even non-Harry Potter fans. It has broken records. It has been one of the hottest selling games on Steam. It is the most watched game on Twitch. And so it seems like a lot of the boycotts have not worked, and it then has kind of devolved from boycotting the game to lashing out and attacking people who are streaming the game or who are saying they're going to buy the game. People are being called bigots. People are being called transphobic. As in addition to, now I've seen, and you guys gotta be careful for those who are interested in playing the game, that some of these boycotters are now deciding to just spoil the game. So if you go to a stream and someone's streaming a game, if they don't have some precautions put into place to protect them from, say, non-followers or non-subscribers just saying whatever, people are spamming spoilers of the game in the chats, in Twitter threads and whatnot. So all this said for a game where the developers have come out and spoken against the thoughts and words of J.K. Rowling, who is the creator of the Harry Potter universe. It's got me thinking, like, what's really going on here in this gaming community? Forte, what are your thoughts about this, man?
What's going on in this gaming community? Oh man!
And by the way, the character creator in this game is pretty awesome. I just want to say that. Go ahead.
You said it's awesome?
Oh yeah. They did black hair well.
Okay. Well, that part they did well, but the fact that they did the mocapping, I think they limited the ability to change the look of your character a lot. So they have the mocap people's face in the game, and you really can't do anything with that.
I mean, considering these are the developers of Chicken Little, I think they did quite a good job, and I think it's fairly impressive.
No, it is.
Based on their history.
On their history, because nobody really knew how this was going to really turn out, and I think everybody's pretty happy with that. I was actually having a conversation about this with my wife today. I was talking at work with a couple of people today about it, because it's a lot of Harry Potter fans and stuff at my job, and they're all enjoying the game for the most part. Everybody's been playing it since Tuesday. Some people actually got review codes that I know about in my area that I was like, oh really, how did you do that? But yeah, they really enjoying it, and they're seeing the same thing, and the biggest thing that ultimately comes from it is people just don't understand why other people are coming, like, shaming people for playing this game when the first of all, the developers have nothing to do with anything that anybody else says. Like I said a couple weeks ago, what she says in her own for herself does not translate to the IPs and stuff that she basically owns and that she just leases out to these different people to do the different, intellectual IPs that they do. So Port really don't have nothing to do with that. All they did was make a game. So we're just supporting the developer on an amazing game that they made. And then you have shout out to Luca, watched a couple of her videos talking about it, and
Great videos, Luca.
Yeah, great
Thank
videos.
you.
Listening to a streamer, girlfriend in the background trying to contain herself, and you can't because the chat's being super toxic about them just playing the game. And I just don't get stuff like that. It's like this woman is rich beyond rich. She ain't
She's a billionaire.
None of this stuff that's happening is going to change that. The ship has sailed on all of that type of stuff. You can disagree with everything that the woman has said, but the one thing you can't do is shame people for liking something that they just like. My wife, I was talking to her, she doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff she says, but she's a fan of the franchise, and that is you can separate the two. I can separate being a fan of something, but not liking where it originated, the person it originated from, because those are two separate things. And sometimes I think gamers go on these crusades where they feel
These
like
people are not gamers.
They're not.
Okay,
The vast
not
majority of
gamers.
these people are not gamers.
Yeah, I think these people are undercover. They just want to go on these crusades and they want to have, they feel like this is their ability to have a talking point about something. And they know that since gaming is one of those high tier conversations that people like to have, they want to insert themselves into that conversation. But no, leave. We don't want you over here because all you're doing is bringing negativity to something that most people just want to get their game or download it and play and have fun and experience these different things with other people that like the things that it's just like going to the movie theater on the day of a new movie coming out like Avengers, and you're in the theater with people, like-minded people just like you, and you're having fun. But these people want to take it to a whole nother level and stuff. So it's very, very frustrating to see stuff like that because this is a thing that we grew up basically enjoying, and none of this stuff was a thing. Well, I mean, when a game first came, there was always stuff that happened back then when we first grew up, but it never got around like as much as it got around now because the internet is like undefeated when it comes to this type of stuff, and people just have a voice that shouldn't have a voice. So for me, I just hate it. It's not hurting the game at all because guess what? People are still, but the game is selling well and it ain't even out yet. So it comes out officially. It comes out tomorrow and is already doing well. So just imagine what it's going. I'll give y'all an update with how busy it is at my store in the morning because people were mad that we ain't doing midnight tonight. I was like, nah, bro, I ain't doing the midnight tonight. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Forte, have you played the game yet?
I played like for about 45 minutes of it because I'm the thing with me right now. I don't know if I want to start a huge open world game, knowing that Star Wars is coming right around the corner. Then I got Zelda right after that. That's too many. That's like you're literally going to leave one to go into another and go into another. So I just don't know when. If I probably
beat this game before. Well, no, this is you. I mean, never mind.
Exactly.
You
exactly.
Forever.
I take forever. So it's like it would probably take me the whole month to go between this. I'm not going to lie to you. When the DLC for Destiny comes out in 3 weeks, it's a wrap. Everything's getting on hold for probably a couple of weeks. But it's just that I don't know. Once I saw Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, it was a wrap. That's getting played day one. Everything's getting put down. So I don't know if I want to commit to a long-standing RPG like this, because I know I'm playing Star Wars, even though we're gonna talk about some stuff I didn't like later, but we'll get into that. But that's how I felt about it, man. I just think people need to just mind their own damn business sometimes and just don't worry about what other people are doing.
Luca, what are your thoughts?
I think that it's very unfortunate that this is the route that people have decided to take. I think that some of these people who are expressing concerns are very young. and they are not aware of how the real world works because they've not had the chance to be out in the real world. I think that there are some people who are attempting to appeal to the younger generation and this perceived idea of how things are when it comes to media and society as a whole currently in regards to our media and what's considered popular right now, especially after certain events that have taken place over the last couple of years. And there's this push for certain kinds of things to be integrated, or not even just integrated, overtaking in a sense, right? And I think it's just some people are very reluctant to the push because it's very aggressive and it is not very realistic or reasonable for a lot of folks, right? So
Right.
it's like, especially when it comes to, out of all of the social issues, things involving the trans community are the one, it's something that people are like the most ignorant on out of all of the social issues, right? Like, people are starting to understand things involving like the L and the G and the B, right? But when it comes to trans issues, like, people are still very, very ignorant on what it means to be trans and everything that goes into all that stuff. Me included, I'm still ignorant on certain aspects, though I've taken like classes about stuff like this. I'm still fairly ignorant on it, you know what I'm saying? But I have like more knowledge than like the average person who has no interest in looking into things like this. So ultimately, when I saw that I saw JKR's comments, and people are under like this misconception that she only said like one thing, when it's actually it's a plethora of things that she said and things that she's also done and supported that have people coming to the views that they've come to ultimately.
Right.
But like, a lot of people who are also pushing this concept of, well, JKR is this way, if you were to ask them like, well, what did she say, they wouldn't be able to provide you with like a concrete answer, just speculation or things that they've interpreted a certain way, where they said, if you buy this game, JKR is basically saying that you agree with her views. And the tweet that they use as an example and proof of her saying that actually can be read in multiple ways, and the way that they read it actually isn't even close to being anything that makes sense, right? So for me, I'm just kind of like, as I see the vitriol and the back and forth between people, I just feel like it's very unfortunate because there is already a divide, and it's only going to grow further with this push here. And a lot of I've seen a lot of, but listen, here's the thing. You can only go around calling folks bigots for so long before they stop caring, you know?
Right.
And
That's very
one of
true.
my commenters they were like, apathy is like death, basically, because once people stop caring about your issues, it's over, like, for me, I think that it's so unfortunate that people have decided to take this route where they believe that unprecedented aggression is the best way to get their point across, where it's like, first of all, your aggression is based on the internet. It's online. You're not achieving anything, especially since it's not like you guys are not in an organized group coming together for a single goal, because there's outliers. There are people who are in your group / so-called alleged supporters who are doing things that make your group look awful, right? Because people are not going to actually look in and be like, is it actually trans people doing this, or is it the so-called allies who speak on their behalf? And it's a little mix of both, but I've seen more of the allies than I've seen trans people speak out against folks purchasing these games and playing this game, right? And it's just like silly because they've been working on this game for literally years now and years prior to JKR's comments and stuff. And it's like, what do you expect them to do? Just stop developing the game, stop working on a game that they've been working on for years because of something the creator said, multiple things that the creator said, right? What do people expect there? It's unreasonable and it's unrealistic. And then the folks who are claiming like, well, if you play this game, you're not a good person. And then you look in their past and it's like, it's
done the exact same thing.
The exact same
They
thing.
have been on the other side of the argument for some game that they actually cared about. Every single person I've seen on Twitter that has used that argument has had some tweets from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, thrown right back in their face. And every single one of them doesn't just say take the L and go, you know what? You're right. I was capping, or I you know what? I'm being a hypocrite right now. Nope, they double down. They try to come up with some kind of weird excuse to justify it. They just like digs that hole even deeper. It's
like ridiculous.
typical,
It's absolutely ridiculous, and they're hypocrites and they're pathetic in my opinion. Like, it's absolutely pathetic. Like, it's actually insane how quickly people can find out if you listen. I remember the majority of my stances when it comes to things I feel strongly of, right? So I went back and I listened to an old Weapon Wheel podcast episode from like 3 years ago, in which we were discussing JKR, and the stance I had back then is the exact same stance I have now. And I'm just like, you know what? That's called consistency, baby. And when I do get called out for things, I'm like, oh, no, you're right. You know, especially if I end up getting caught for something where it's like, oh snap, I don't remember I said that. Thanks for letting me know, you know? So it's like, the fact that these people are so adamant about it is ridiculous. Like, this one guy was like, well, my views have changed. I've grown as a person. I don't think that way anymore. And I'm just like, okay, so let's break this down. You are offering yourself and allowing yourself grace to grow and change as a person. You didn't believe you were a bad person back then when you had these views. So since the shoe's on the other foot, and these people are in your shoes, why are you labeling them as bad people when they could also change and grow? Like, just doing a blanket, you're all awful, is ridiculous, and it doesn't make any sense. And that's the issue with this stuff, is that logic is lost amongst these people, and I just think it's sad. And along with the spoilers, I got spoiled for the game. Now, mind you, Harry Potter as a whole has a lot of character names that are ridiculous and don't make any sense. So when I was
they make a certain kind of sense. A certain kind of prejudice sense, but like, yeah.
Like,
go ahead.
As I was looking at the spoilers and reading them, I'm like, what gibberish am I even reading right now? Like, I don't know what I don't know what this means. Like, what does it even mean? So I have like a vague idea of what the spoilers are, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here. And I just kept it moving, you know? Like, I sighed a little bit, and I was slightly annoyed, not because like my experience as a whole was ruined. I'm just kind of like, well, this is going to piss people off, and you know what that's going to do? Alienate folks further, and then at the people who are feeling guilty, they're going to be like, I'm actually not feeling guilty anymore. I don't care. Fuck you. Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies for cursing, but yeah, F you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, I just don't know what they're thinking. I don't know. I mean, they're not thinking. There's just no brains there. They're also dumb, and they don't even realize it, especially the ones who are being hypocrites, you know?
Right. Have you played the game, right?
Yes, I have.
How many hours you got in so far?
An hour.
An hour. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
very. It's good.
You probably have stopped where I stopped, and I wanted to play more today. I played. I mean, I got the deluxe edition. I couldn't play Tuesday, and then I played some yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to play any today just because of just like time and busyness. But I stopped right after you learn a spell in the Defense of the Dark Arts class. Did you stop there?
No, I stopped after I chose my house.
Oh, okay. All right. So basically, you stopped at where the part is, where the gameplay I'm showing is at right.
What house are y'all in?
I'm Slytherin, man.
Slytherin.
Oh my god.
What house are you in?
Ravenclaw.
Well, I mean, okay, wait. Let's break this down for a second.
You chose Ravenclaw.
No. Wait. Let's break this down for a second.
He chose Ravenclaw.
No.
Technically speaking, all of us would be in Ravenclaw.
Maybe.
No, we would all be in Ravenclaw. But that being said, we all have Slytherin tendencies. You know what I'm
No, yeah,
saying?
yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely.
matter of fact, everyone in this community would be a Slytherin because we're all awful in different sort of ways.
In
You know what I'm
different
saying?
ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But like ultimately speaking, if like as I was reading through the character traits, Ravenclaw, we would all be in Ravenclaw based on like what Ravenclaw is ultimately when it comes to like the character traits for the people in that house, right? It's kind of like how Hermione, like the hat was you guys might not even know what I'm talking about, but
Yes,
the sorting hat was going to put her in Ravenclaw, but ultimately put her in Gryffindor, right?
Gryffindor.
So it's just like so she would be someone who's like between the two, and I think that we are all people who are between Ravenclaw and Slytherin. But I chose Slytherin because at first I was like, I'm gonna be in Ravenclaw, I'm gonna be murdering people, right? But then Stone was all like,
it's like you're murdering people. Okay, you sound very Slytherin of you, you know.
well, I like subverting expectations, so I thought it would be cool to be killing people in a house that wasn't Slytherin because the bad guys are always Slytherins, right? But then Stone was like, "Oh, you're not going to be in this house with me," and I was like, "What are you? I am Slytherin. What you talking about?
Oh my god!
Like, what do you mean? Like, I am Slytherin." So, yeah, you know,
Hufflepuff.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Hufflepuffs, I guess. Like lamest group.
Three of my associates are in Hufflepuff. Their cats in Hufflepuff and everything. I was like, yo, okay.
Yeah, they're lame. Shout out to John the Don for becoming a 10%er. Welcome to the tank class, sir. Appreciate you. I'm about a little bit further than Luca is in the game, but I think the game, it runs excellent on PC, which it has been rare recently for a game to launch running well on PC, because they usually have all kinds of shader compile stutter issues because developers don't take their time with the PC port for some odd reason. But shout out to Avalanche Studios and Portkey Games for actually making sure that the PC version was ready to go. It has a shader compile screen as it's compiling all the shaders I need for the entire game in the very beginning, and it took maybe about 5 minutes. But that's I would rather wait 5 minutes my first time launching the game than play the entire game, and every time there's a cutscene, it's just stuttering along. So appreciate them for doing the right thing and actually making me wait for the shaders to compile in the very beginning. Now, in regards to the debates going back and forth with this game, I have no problem with anyone who chooses to personally boycott this game. That's a personal choice. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable like, oh man, I gotta play this game,
Right.
or I gotta pretend like I like this game, and I don't feel comfortable based upon the things that J.K. Rowling has said. No, you do what the best decision for you. You don't want to play the game? Don't play the game. My issues come with, I actually don't even mind people wanting to create a debate, create discussion.
Yeah, voice their opinion.
Voice their opinions to others and explain why they think they should also not play the game. I don't have a problem with that either. But what I do have a problem with is bullying. What I do have a problem with is labeling people certain things that people you don't even know. You don't know anything about them. But labeling people certain things simply because they don't agree with you and they have a different viewpoint in regards to this. I do have a problem with people going to other people's streams and stating hateful things about people who actually have been allies for the cause that you are supposedly fighting for. And all you're doing is pushing them away from the actual stances that you stand for. I got a problem with people who would rather make a website so that people can be bullied, so that people can find, because clearly you don't know how Twitch works. So you need a website to figure out how to find people on Twitch. All you had to do was go on Twitch, put Hogwarts Legacy in search, and see all the people that stream in the game. But instead, you wanted a website because you literally don't know anything about Twitch because you're also not gamers. But outside of that, I got a problem with people who would make a website like that, but and wasted their time in doing so, but can't go down to Disneyland and boycott the fact that like J.K. Rowling gets a percentage of the gate.
No, because that would that would mean that they would actually have to get off their butts and cut it out with the performative stuff. They'd actually have to do something instead of just tweeting from the comfort of their home.
You know, and I was like, I started doing some research, you know, because like I'm like, you know, I really want to know what these people can do to really make change, you know, really make a difference. Let's look at not just J.K. Rowling. Let's look at everyone that's out there harming those of the trans community. Let's talk about Saudi Arabia and their investments in gaming. I started doing some research. Hey, you know, Saudi Arabia is invested in Nintendo, Embracer Group, Capcom, all of these big publishers. Are y'all boycotting their games too?
Nope.
Oh, what? So Embracer Group, like Saudi Arabia has 8% of Embracer Group, 6% of Capcom, 8% of Nintendo. But I don't see anyone saying don't buy Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, don't buy the new Tomb Raider, don't buy Resident Evil 4 remake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it because y'all care about those games? Is that it? You don't care about Harry Potter, so it's easy to pretend like you're actually sacrificing something that you weren't going to buy in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
you can't
obvious.
boycott something you weren't going to buy, guys.
Exactly, and it's obvious that's the case because we have evidence of these same people years in the past making excuses for the games that were problematic by actual developers who actually said and did harmful things to people, marginalized groups. Those actual developers who worked on the game, you defended them because you wanted to play those games. Where's the same energy is all I'm saying.
Nope, they don't have it, man. They don't have it. They don't think about it. So speaking, like, and I mean, shout out to John Linnerman from Digital Foundry.
Mm-hmm.
I was giggling earlier today because, like, he responded to someone was like, "Are you going to cover Hogwarts Legacy?" Well, I don't know what they said to him exactly, but his response was pretty unhinged. So I'm gonna assume that they said something crazy, right? Because the person deleted it, right? But John was like, "Harry Potter sucks. Okay, it's childish. Why would I cover an open world game, a type of game I notoriously despise, based on an IP I hate? It's going to get covered, but I wouldn't do it regardless of the situation around it because I do not like the franchise." There's some extra curses in there, guys. And then, like, other people were like, "Wait a second. Ain't you excited for some Nintendo games? Hold up, childish." What are you talking about, man? Like, what do you mean? Like, what? And then people are hitting him with this you? And literally, they found it, like, after seconds, right? And he came out and he was like, "Okay, yeah, y'all are right. But still, I hate Harry Potter." I'm like, "Bro, I hate Harry Potter would have sufficed, bro. Like, you didn't have to do all that extra stuff." But I bring him up to say this. Like, he was very vitriolic in his response. Only, I mean, at least he took an L. He took his L because he was like, "Oh, yeah, I do like Nintendo games. Oh, yeah, I am excited for Kirby and Sonic."
How in the world
Zelda.
you gonna call Harry Potter childish, but you like Kirby? He's a pink.
First of all, Kirby is a little demon. All right, let's break this down for a second. He is a
demon.
He is a
this is a family program.
He is a okay. He is a
Listen, that man's mouth was wide open.
I come on the show and suddenly things start taking a left. But what I was gonna say is, Kirby is a covetous demon who can eat endlessly, and as he devours you, he absorbs your powers. Like, Kirby is very scary, actually. If I was a creature, I would be a Kirby, you know, because I could just continue eating.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's just draw this back into
Eating food that
we don't need to give our viewers any other. Yeah.
No, look, now Luca, you in regards to you've only played an hour in this game, right? So far, are you liking it? Or are you going to finish it?
Oh yeah, I'm really liking it so far. Plus, like, there's no other games I really want to play this year other than Starfield, so I'm kind of like whatever, right? Like, I gotta beat Dead Space. I'm almost done with that. I'm on chapter 9. Started this game and then Starfield, whenever that comes out. So the rest of the year is looking a little bare for me. Like, I'm really not interested in anything else coming out currently. I mean, there might be some sleeper hits in there where I was like, because I really didn't care about this game at all until about a month and a half ago, where I was like, I saw some gameplay. I was like, this actually looks kind of delicious, like, delicioso.
I do
And
like
then
the
like,
gameplay. The gameplay's cool.
right?
Yeah.
It's cool. And then there were a bunch of people who were like, I bought 50 copies. And I was like, oh, say less. Can you send me one? And somebody did.
I was waiting, and like I don't have it like Luca. I was like, man, like so many people was like, I bought 6 copies because they out here telling me what I can and cannot. But I'm like, say less, man. Hit me up. What's up?
No, but like literally though, because that's literally what I said. I'm like, okay, so all y'all boycotting, if somebody wants to send me a copy of the game, I would much appreciate it. Thank you. And I did get one, so shout out to the person who sent it to me. But like, what I'm saying is, guys, ultimately, my character's name is Leliana, of course. Leliana Chase, you know, which sounds like a perfect Slytherin name. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like something from a CW TV show, but continue.
Okay, Anne?
I said continue.
What about it? We both watch CW shows.
I watch it out of, it's like a hate watch. You know, it's like I watch it and I complain about everything about it. But yeah.
Nah, you lying, because you enjoyed seasons 1 and 2 of Arrow.
Those were actually good.
You like season 1 of The Flash.
That was actually good.
Okay, so you enjoy the shows.
But those 3 seasons of good television is overshadowed by like the 24 seasons combined of all the terrible story plots and absolutely horrendous CG effects, and just it's
okay. Well, my character Leliana Chase, which is, I mean, it's better name than Nigelis Black, you know what I'm saying, or King's Foot Shacklebolt or whatever.
I thought it was about to say that. I
know
thought it was Nicholas Black. Isn't that how it said?
Nigelis makes more sense.
Wow.
Yeah. Either way, if you look at how it's spelled, you just kind of go, wait a minute.
Because I definitely started giggling when I saw it. I was like, what the hell?
You got a black dude. His last name is Shacklebolt. Really? Mm-hmm. Shackles, bolted shackles. Really? I didn't think we were going to, come on. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, no, it's I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm surprisingly, like, the voice acting is pretty good, and I'm liking like the dialogue choices and the story so far. I'm like, okay, and it got it's good. It's good so far. I'm really liking it, guys. You know, I would say give it a shot. Like, Fonz has been hitting me up in DMs like, Luca is so good, and like Fonz definitely does not like Harry Potter. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He definitely doesn't say it like that. I wish he would try to say it like that. I would love to see.
Well, he couldn't say it like that because of his voice being super deep and stuff. So
right. But no, yeah. I'm enjoying this so far. Like I said earlier, I like the combat. The combat was the reason why I said yes to, because if the combat sucked, I wasn't going to get into it. Like, I've read the books years and years ago. I think J.K. Rowling really is an overrated writer. Sorry for the fans, but no, she's just not that good. There are far better writers out there. I think she really just, I said this to Luke a little while ago, I think she hit a wave of young adult demographic that was really looking for something that she created. She hit the wave at the right moment. Any writer that could could coherently put a sentence together was going to blow up in the lane that she's in, and it's worked, and she's a good businesswoman because she has milked it for all it's worth since then.
She's set up some really good deals for herself. Like, absolutely. She had some good lawyers, you know what I'm saying?
Freaking Luke. And look, it's an interesting world and everything. And like I'm not trying to say it isn't. She's built a very interesting world and lore. But if the combat wasn't good, I wasn't going to get this. So I actually, like, when I saw some of the combat, I was like, all right, I'm feeling that. And in doing the first hour, There's a lot of setup. Probably a lot of like Harry Potter fans probably were just like just lapping it up and enjoying it. I thought it was just somewhat interesting. But there's a lot of setup and prologue kind of stuff that's going on, explaining what's happening in currently in that time period of the world. And when you did get into some combat, it's exactly what I thought it was and the feel of it. And I'm really just like can't wait to dive more into it once I get more time. I mean, partially of that is I gotta stop playing so many multiplayer games and I'll be able to spend more time in it. But I'm definitely going
multiplayer is life, sir.
It is, but I'm going to finish the game. That's definitely my intention. But I guess any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Nope.
Wait till the game comes out officially tomorrow.
Man, it's already blowing up, and it's not even officially out yet. It's crazy. Oh man, Luca, are you good, or do you have to grow? I know you didn't have as much time as you would like to have.
Did you say, do I have to grow?
No.
I said, do you have to roll? I mean,
like,
I know you can't grow. I know you can't grow. That's a non-starter. So.
I thought perhaps you were asking if I had to grow because I had to like go to bed so I can get my nutrients to grow.
People in the chat saying they heard grow too. I did not mean to say grow. I meant
he knew what he was doing.
Do you
it was
have
it was
grow?
an unconscious thing. I'm going to bed.
Well, look, we appreciate you and your thoughts as for these first two topics. Let the fine people know where they can find you.
You guys can find me or follow me on Twitter at the Ashen Luca. Good luck following me because they are breaking Twitter right now. Like I don't know what is going on, but last night, like it just today, right? Today it acted. Wait, no, yesterday too.
Yesterday, yes, yeah.
Yesterday, I get a text and my buddy's like, "Can you DM me?" And I'm just like, "Nope." It doesn't work. And it was like everyone in the time, and like I couldn't tweet either. And I was like, I put my phone down, came back like an hour later, and everyone was like, Twitter was not working. And then today, like there are some people who got that Twitter blue, and I'm like, I'm not reading these soliloquies, bro. Like it's just not happening. Like as soon as I see that read more, I just keep scrolling. I'm like, nope. So you guys,
how many characters can you get with Twitter blue now?
4,000.
Oh my god, it's a twit longer.
Exactly. So you guys can follow me on Twitter at the Ashen Luca, and then I have a YouTube channel, Ashen Luca, the Ashen Luca, that is, where I cover a variety of topics. I'm actually being very consistent over the last month or so. So
facts.
Follow me there. All right, I'll catch you boys later, and thank you to everyone in the chat. I see my people in the chat, Scum Gang. You already know Scum Gang all the time, and you guys have a nice rest of your evening. And enjoy the rest of your show. And if you guys could, like, maybe go to bed on time, that'd be fantastic.
Oh boy, I'll try.
That's a lie, but whatever.
The one you need to be telling that to. I go to sleep all the time on time.
Okay. All right. Peace, boys.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Luca. Appreciate you. Shout out to Luca for joining us. Hopefully.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Hopefully we'll have you on for longer next time.
Yes.
All right. Forte, are you ready for this next topic?
Yeah.
All right. So next topic is about a game that I've been waiting for a long time. Like when I say a long time, like forever. And that is this Fable remake. And so shout out again. This also comes from Inside Gaming, Tom Henderson. That it has been reported that the Fable remake is now in a playable state. So Playground Games has the game running in a playable state, which it's like I'm happy about that. But then I'm also like
the fact that they had to tell you it's in a playable state.
Well, yeah, there's that, but then there's also the fact that like this game was they acquired Playground Games in 2018. This game was in development in some like form or fashion.
2017, 2016.
In 2017. So it's been about like 5-6 years.
It's about that time.
Yeah, that this game has been worked on. Like, you think
they're gonna show it this year?
What, at E3?
Mm-hmm.
I certainly hope so.
I don't think they can get past this. I mean, they can do anything, honestly, and people let them do it all the time. But I don't think it'll make it. I think a lot of games that people been waiting to see from like 2018, you'll see this year.
I mean, I would like. Well, here's the deal, right? If they're still doing that 12-month thing, where they're only showing. You see, they're never doing that again. How you know?
I said never do that again.
Oh well, other things that like they've already. Look, here's the thing: they are very. Xbox leadership has never been very consistent when it comes to how they do that. Right? I remember at one point Phil Spencer was saying, "You know, I don't even like to show nothing that's like not going to be coming out within the next 6 to 8 months." Mm-hmm. I'm like. So how would anyone know what to look forward to? And then almost immediately after that, they started showing us, what was it called? Everwild, which they didn't even know what that was. They showed State of Decay 3. They showed a whole bunch of games that weren't going to come out for years.
Yep.
And it was just like, what happened to what y'all said before? And then last E3, they went from showing us games that's not going to come out for years, which again, I don't have a problem with. That lets people know what to look forward to in the future, to, all right, we're just going to show you what's coming out in the next 12 months. Which then also got them into some other issues, because now it's like it's like a implicit promise, but it's not necessarily an outright promise. But it's like, it's kind of promising that this games will be out before next June or next E3. And then now you got kind of like, but what if the game needs to be delayed? Like, the game should be delayed if it's going to make sure we're really trying to make sure that the game is of the best quality, right? And that's if you have to delay it out of that time period, well, then like, you know, now you're kind of hurting your own reputation of when you say certain things are going to happen. If you do that and then say like, Forza Motorsport's not coming out until this fall, and Starfield's not coming out until August. When you go to the next E3 and you're like, these games are coming out within the next 12 months, people gonna be like, that's cap. You don't know that for certain. They might get delayed just like everything else. So I agree they shouldn't do that anymore, but they could. And if they did, like, I don't see this game coming out between June 2023 and June 2024. And maybe that's just like, I haven't seen the gameplay. I don't know what state the gameplay is in, but typically when I hear a game's in a playable state, that's different than the game is completed and they're just polishing it.
Right.
That's a whole different like thing. Like, you can play a portion of a game that's still like in stages of being developed. So I don't know, like what are your thoughts on just this whole thing in particular in playground games? Because like at one point, remember, it was nothing but 2 months ago where we had like 4chan leaks saying they had switched from Forza Tech Engine to Unreal Engine. They had to reboot the whole game and it's in trouble and all this other stuff that like I got actual confirmation wasn't true. So what are your thoughts about all of it?
I mean, at this point, so everything's going to be questioned when it comes to Xbox, when it comes, or even just any of their studios. Playground is probably one of their better. It was not even probably. They are one of their better studios, but they're working on a unknown IP that they never made before. You know, they've always been a racing studio, so now they're bringing in all this different talent to make this open world RPG game, and deadlines are not being, well, in the eyes of a lot of people, you know, from the rumors they're hearing, deadlines are not being hit and they're having issues with the engine and stuff. So if this was all stuff that you heard when they were developing, let's say, Forza Motorsport 6, people would have been like, oh, they'll be fine. You know, it wouldn't be a big deal. You know, they're having problems with the engine. Oh, that just must mean they might be working with. They might be revamping the Force Attack engine, and they're doing some stuff on the back end to get the game running good. We're not worried about them because you know all the Forza games have been amazing, but since they're in the unknown quantity of something that they're making, it's a big deal. And I have faith that this studio definitely is going to turn out. I don't know, like I said, we don't know how special the game's going to be, but we at least know that it's going to be of quality because at least of the stuff that they made at the studio so far, everything has been that up to this point. But I just think that it's just the fact that a lot of people are just saying up to this point, like everything with Microsoft is kind of a fluid situation when it comes to like just the thoughts of where they're going to be at with all of their studios and stuff. And right now, everybody just wants to see games, and no one wants to hear anything about trouble in paradise when it comes to developing the game. You know, Nintendo's been coming. I mean, we just saw Nintendo with a bunch of stuff that they just announced that they're direct, a whole bunch of stuff that's coming out, a whole bunch of stuff that dropped the day and day of. PlayStation is going to have a lot to say. They got VR coming out this month. You know, so they just had a Game of the Year contender in God of War released 3 months ago that sold over 11 million copies to date. So nobody wants to hear anything about trouble in paradise when it comes to anything, even if it's one of their best studios. So I think at this point, people just want to see something. And I think it's just like you just said earlier. I do think we're going to get that this year at E3. And I think that will go a long way in calming people's nerves down, because as of right now, we only know about the roadmap for this year. And we're back in that whole saddle of 2020, 2021. What does Xbox have in the future? Like we didn't, I actually, that's what the problem is.
I just thought about something. Remember last year around, what's that other show that's in Europe that
Gamescom?
Gamescom, yes. Around Gamescom, Matt Booty did an interview, and I've brought this up multiple times because I didn't like what he said, but then I have to kind of look at it from a different point of view when it comes to actual Fable. He said that Fable looked great and he wanted to show it, but Playground told him no. Which, like, I'm just like, you're the boss, you're their boss. They shouldn't be telling you no on showing their game. That said, like that was a year ago. I mean, like, well, that will be close to a year ago. By the time E3 comes out. If it looked good enough to show then, it should be good enough to show this year. So I would say probably maybe you're probably right that it will be shown at E3, and I hope it looks good because Fable 2 was amazing. I think that was like one of the best games I played on the 360 back in the day, and I like Fable 1 and Fable 2 actually. Fable 3 kind of sucked. And I was in the beta for Fable Legends, and I didn't. It was a beautiful looking game, but it just played not like Fable. And I understood it being canceled, but I kind of like being in the beta. I know they were transitioning Fable Legends into a more traditional Fable game. Just they ran out of time, unfortunately, and the studio ran out of time as well. I definitely didn't agree with that decision of the Shutter Lionhead, but all that said, Fable is my most anticipated game out of their first party games, and so yeah, I want to see it. And I think if it's in a playable state, I'm not saying put out a beta like they did for Fable Legends, but if it's in a playable state, I think at that point you should be able to show us gameplay.
Right.
But
yep, I agree.
Move on to next topic here, and let's see. Forspoken.
Oh my God.
Hey, look, I'm not gonna be yelling at people today, okay? We're just gonna talk very calmly about Forspoken.
We're gonna talk calmly about it.
very, very calmly.
Very calmly. Gotcha. Let's do it.
So, Forspoken developers came out and they got. And man, that did not work. Why did that not work? Let me go back. All right, let's try this again.
Uh-oh.
This is I got OBS. changes,
Some more guy
OBS does not
doesn't respect your time.
Not even a little bit. Oh, that's why. That's on me because I messed up. My bad. That was definitely user error. So look, blow this up a little bit so that people can see what Takashi Aramaki has said here about Forspoken. Maybe I should go a little bit bigger. Okay, so Forspoken. Thank you to all the players who have enjoyed Forspoken and explored Athia since launch. We've been listening to all your feedback and are hard at work on an upcoming patch that will include improvements to overall performance, graphics, playability, and general updates and fixes to the game content across PS5 and various PC hardware configurations. We are committed to making Forspoken the most enjoyable experience possible and will provide an update about the timing of the next patch as soon as possible. We appreciate your continued support and patience. Takashi Aramaki, head of studio and director of Forspoken. So, I have been playing the game, and
Okay.
for those who have been playing the game, I have been playing it on PC, and we've been through about how poorly optimized it is. So I'm not trying to talk about that. That message is as a acknowledgement of how poorly optimized the game is on all platforms, PS5 and PC. I have been playing it basically locked. I locked the frame rate to 60 frames per second because when it's unlocked for me, it's all over the place. And when it's all over the place, the frame pacing gets really bad, and it gets really like combat gets really jerky. I'm just not really like I lock it at 60 if it runs a whole lot better. So what was that? Oh, I lost my I'm up to the point. Yeah, I was talking about where I was at. I'm up to the point where I beat the first boss, the first Tantala. Those who have played the game know what I'm talking about. I beat the fire lady. So I got fire powers now, and it's like I said, I love the combat. There's the reason why I wanted to play the game. You know, dialogue and so story notwithstanding, the combat is and I think what I'm going to do though is probably wait to finish it when the patch drops, so that like I can kind of play it, because like the game's not an ugly game, but when it in performance mode, when it's routinely under 1080p on PS5, and then can drop with that because it's dynamic resolution, can drop to 720p. That's no good. Now on a console as powerful as the PlayStation 5, that's just unacceptable. Its performance on PC unacceptable. I know there's a lot of people who have already like played through it. They're enjoying it, you know, despite the performance, and they finished it. Even though like it seems as though once you finish it, you can still just like be in the world and just doing whatever, you know, and keep growing, keep getting more powerful and take on other things. So that's good that that's still there even after you beat the main story. But I would hope they get this patch out sooner rather than later. They didn't say when it was coming, just said that they were working on it and it will be coming out soon. But I would love to see that patch come out and just really like shore up a lot of the issues that are plaguing the game on both PlayStation and PC. What are your thoughts on it, Forte?
Okay, so once again, what did I tell you the day that I played this game? It wasn't even a game; it was the demo. What did I tell you? So
yeah, you said you didn't like it, and the performance is terrible, and you weren't going to play it.
Yeah, we're gonna play it. And what have I done to this point? Still not play it. Didn't you know what? I didn't even notice this until you made it a topic. I was like, this is interesting because, like you said, it isn't a mission. to what everybody else was saying. And the only difference between this and Cyberpunk is no one really cares about Square Enix as much as everybody cared more about what was happening over there with I forget their name. What's the name of the studio that did Cyberpunk?
Luminous Productions.
Well, Luminous Productions made this. I was making another Premiere though. But you know, the biggest thing is
the only other game they've made has been Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, probably the worst Final Fantasy out there. Yeah, the weird thing though is like I got Final Fantasy 15 at launch on PlayStation, on PlayStation 4. Got it at launch on PlayStation. And I did eventually play it on PC years later. But I didn't like the issues that I have with Forspoken are not the issues that I had with Final Fantasy. Like the issue with Final Fantasy 15 is the story was nonsensical and really couldn't be followed unless you watched a movie and an anime outside of the game. And I always kind of consider, I said this about like the Grimoire cards with Destiny and other games that like try to get you, like they try to supplement the story or like really fix their story by doing through other forms of media outside the game. I think that's always a problem. I shouldn't have to go outside your game to understand your game. Right. But like I actually like Final Fantasy 15's combat. And I didn't have any issues with the performance, although I know there were people who that they had issues with performance. I don't recall having any issues with performance with Final Fantasy 15 when I played it on PlayStation. So like I was kind of, taken aback by how, this game performed when the demo came out. Although once the demo came out on PS5, I knew the PC version was going to have an issue. And I knew it was going to have an issue mostly due to the fact that like just like what the spec sheet looked like about what to expect if you have certain kind of hardware. That was one. And then the other issue was just that Square Enix, when it comes to PC ports, they've been probably the worst publisher out here in the gaming industry when it comes to their ports to PC. They have been very, very poor when it comes to that. How they developed Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC was just like sloppy and almost next to no effort. Like they put it on DX12 without getting using any DX12 features. Like why would you do that? Like what was the purpose of putting the game? No DLSS, no ray tracing, none of the features that are exclusive to DX12 over DX11 are in there. And then they didn't do any shader cache compilation, so it was stutters all over the place. And people just figured out, hey, look, just force it. It still had DX11 in there. People just said, just force it to run on DX11. And when you run on DX11, it's just fine because it's literally no different than the PlayStation 5 version. Like they didn't actually make it any better. And it's just like, you have the opportunity here, the freedom, the versatility to let the PC gamers kind of, use their more superior hardware to their advantage. You just like see this game in all the glory that it could be, but they just didn't do that. And they never really do. And I feel like ever since they lost Nixxes, because Nixxes prior to being owned by Sony were primarily doing ports for Square Enix games. And ever since they lost Nixxes, it just seemed to me like they lost their biggest ability to do quality PC ports when that happened. But they gotta get it figured out because they're, especially when the next one up is Final Fantasy 16 at some point late this year or maybe early next year. You're going to miss out on a lot of opportunity to get people really, on PC really buying that game if you mess that up. My bad. You about to say something?
No. I said that's a really good point. I think in general, ever since, like this is what inherently happens when you stretch development super thin across one studio, and then when you lose that studio to being able to do other things and you don't have them to do the ports the way that they need to be done, then you start seeing stuff like this. But I also just think in general, this is kind of karma for all of those PlayStation fans out there that were, you know how Microsoft every third party big deal they did, Cyberpunk, what was the other one, Back for Blood,
Anthem,
all those big ones, all the big ones that had marketing deals,
Battlefield 2042,
2042, all the big ones that Microsoft had deals with. They is
all
like
flopped,
karma.
man.
They all flopped, and this is like kind of like karma for all of those fans. It's like, oh, Forspoken, like, you know how everybody kept naming Forspoken as one of the tentpole titles for PlayStation for 2022 or 2023 or 2022. And look what's happening. Just like what happened with all those games, the game came out and underperformed. It had performance issues. Now that's not a place to, just like people try to blame Microsoft for that. I was like, that's not a Microsoft. That's a studio issue that was coming from those developers.
Exactly. Like
and this isn't Sony. This is literally on Square Enix.
Right. Like when people were going after, like, you know, the trolls on Twitter going after, oh, that trash PlayStation running this game at 720p. That's Nintendo Switch levels. And it's like,
right.
Yes, there is Nintendo Switch levels. How is that the hardware's fault? This is think about that for a moment. This is the hardware that ran Horizon Forbidden West. Look at that game and look at this game.
A beautiful piece of art with no soul.
It's not even comparable. And that game has never ran as bad as Forspoken runs. Like, no,
That's
it's
true.
not the PlayStation hardware. It's the developer. Clearly, the developer is at fault here. And it's just like people just seem to not want to listen, just look at things from a objective standpoint. It doesn't run great on any platform. That's
Right.
not a particular, that's not, oh, you need to upgrade your PC. That's not, oh, you got a line on PlayStation. No, that's a developer issue. And clearly
Right.
the developer coming out and acknowledging it and saying we're working on a patch to fix this is the proof is right there that there was a problem. There is a problem. They see it's a problem. They've heard everyone talk about it, discuss it, and give feedback on it. And I just hope it gets fixed, because once I really got a feel of the combat, I'm having fun. You know,
Right.
now that I got like a second set of spells, and not just the earth spells that Frey starts with, but I got the fire spells now. Man, the combat's fun. You know, I don't care what people say. Like, and I've said that, like, I've been saying that from the beginning. It's just the performance that blew me. But like,
Right.
game's fun to play. I wouldn't even care if the game wasn't fun to play. I'd be treated like it was, like, if a game didn't look fun to play, I would treat it like Gotham Knights.
Oh,
When the performance is bad and the game don't look fun to play, I just ignore you. You know, but when the game looks fun to play, I want it to be good. So it's just my thoughts on it. You ready to move on, man?
man, you killing it right now.
Our next topic is we about to argue.
Oh yeah, we gonna argue.
We about to get, because like after what you said in the pre-show, this is definitely about to be an argument. So
Yeah.
Forte, what are your thoughts about, and shout out, let me double check where this came from. Is this Inside Gaming as well? Inside Gaming.
I think
got everything.
you got everything. From
No,
Inside
IGN.
Gaming.
This is an IGN.
Oh yeah, it's
first.
IGN first. IGN first for the month.
So IGN had this exclusive gameplay of Jedi Survivor being made by Respawn Entertainment, the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, the excellent Jedi Fallen Order, which I am currently going to be playing through again before I jump back into this Star Wars world with this one. And this is 9 minutes of gameplay. I don't think I quite got the full 9 minutes, but I got enough of it. I'm gonna just say what my issues are with it real quick, and then I'll let Forte go in. I like the combat. I like the abilities that they showed, and I feel like it's a faster paced version of what we had with Fallen Order. My only issue, and I hope they fix this, is the way Cal runs. And I'm just like, what the heck is wrong with his legs? Is he double bow-legged? Is he quadruple bow-legged? Like, what is wrong with this guy? Look at him. He runs like he runs like he got a load in his pants. He ain't make it to the bathroom, and he's just not trying to let anybody see it. I don't understand why does he run like that, man? When he runs, in my mind, I'm just thinking, it's just what is that? And it's just weird because you look at the animation of his attacks and his combat and his dodging and parrying, and it all looks awesome. And then he starts running again, and I'm just like, what? So they gotta fix that before this game comes out. I cannot look at that an entire game. I just can't. And just literally, I recorded this. And I couldn't record the whole 9 minutes because I got tired of looking at him run like that. I just couldn't. And so maybe the way you laugh, and maybe we in agreement on this, man. See, before with the other game, it was the Wookiees. And I was just like, why the heck are the Wookiees' legs looking like that? Why are these? I ain't never seen an anorexic Wookiee before. And it's just like, until like Respawn just decided they wanted to make some Wookiees on a diet. They'll make no sense, right? Now, like, I ain't seen no Wookiees yet. Maybe they fixed the Wookiees, but they got this is worse than the Wookiees, because the Wookiees was only in one section of Fallen Order. This is the main character running like he quadruple bow-legged, and I just can't do it. I cannot do it, yo. Like, what Forte, what are your thoughts on this gameplay, man?
Okay, so, oh my god, okay, so was it that I didn't like the gameplay? I think that it looks, I can see the small upgrades they made to the visuals. The visuals do look better, but I think it's more tied to the draw distance in the game. So I do think texture quality is a lot high. It's not even a lot. It's marginal, but you can notice it, especially in the rock structures and stuff around the environments. I think the draw distance is what they're really playing off of, which really, really looks good. But slow-mo, when that man started running, I just stopped caring. I was like, this looks terrible. Like, that's all I saw. So even if, like, looking like, it's the unfortunate thing is I can't see anything outside of him running.
Look, man, there's positives here. Like, I like how
look at this part right here that you're showing. Look at this part with him jumping up the wall. What is this? What is he doing?
That doesn't look good at all. That doesn't.
That's what it was, just throwing me off. I was like, you literally showcase. It is like I almost want to feel like IGA was trolling us just so they could show us like
what is wrong with his legs. It's just like
he's just walking. It just looks weird.
He walks like Gumby.
Oh
my god, like
Gumby.
That's his legs. His legs look like they don't have any bone. It's so bad.
Why does his shoulders look higher than the other?
Greta says he run like he has to take a Wookiee. Oh man, it's so bad. But it's just like,
bad, bro.
But his use of the Force is grown.
Great.
And I like how when enemies throw a grenade, he just shoot that grenade right back at them. I'm like, yeah, that looks great. Like, that stuff looks awesome, man. It's just, man, look, and here's the thing. I don't know if they like didn't get, because like they got the guy. I forgot the actor's name, but he was in Shameless and he was in Gotham. He's a well-known actor, and he's clearly mocapped in the game.
Very much
part
so.
of mocap and performance capture is capturing these actors in the little suits walking and running and stuff like that. Like, do they just not have that? And look, like right now, there's the walking animation, and he's walking normally,
Normal.
but it's like when he runs is when it just
Double
like
time.
there's just no way that's mocap. There's no way the run is mocap. There's no way that
You're co-
actor runs like that. Like he does not. He cannot run like his legs are made out of Play-Doh. Like just no. I just can't believe it.
It just like it wasn't like, oh man, it was, because that was just the first thing when you asked me when I said I saw it. I was like, man, these trailers are trash. I was like, because all I can see is that it was like the whole trailer is like I couldn't unsee it, so I couldn't enjoy it because I was just like you. I watched about 6 minutes of the 9-minute trailer, and I was like, I can't watch no more of this because this is triggering. Look at him. Look at him go.
Man, but see, like every time I would like sigh at the terrible running animation, he would do something that was awesome in combat. Like, because they kind of kept it free flowing, going back to combat very quickly. And I did like this one section here where it's like there's a fight between indigenous animals in the planet and the droids, and you kind of just like jump in the fray, or you could probably just wait until one camp wins and then take out the stragglers. But like this fight's awesome. Like it looks great, and it's just it goes from here to
I really like I like his use. Oh my god, I really like his use of the double-bladed lightsaber. It looks so
double-bladed lightsaber. Using dual lightsabers and double-bladed lightsabers is like my favorite part of Star Wars. Period. Like the use of that in game, it just looks so awesome, and I don't know why. It's
only if they had something like this in Dune, but okay.
You don't know anything about Dune, so how about you not?
I just said I hope they had. I said I wish they had something like this in Dune. But go ahead.
They do have things like that in Dune. You just don't look. Whatever. We're gonna move. Well, I don't know why this is frozen.
It wants you to. At least it didn't pause on his running animation. Oh man. No, but for real,
OBS is giving me all the issues today, man.
No, but while you're doing that, but honestly, the game looks great. I'm definitely looking forward to when it comes out, but they need to fix it. Everybody need to just go. I don't know what happened, man. Did when what's name went to go work on Battlefield, did he like take developers with her? Did he take the running animation developer with her when he went to go work?
They were holding up the mocap studio, you know, like something happened.
Something happened. I need him to come back over here and fix this. Because this don't look as like I'm still trying to figure out like how you messed that up when you had it so perfect in the first one.
Right.
Yeah, but it looked good. I can't wait for the game to come out, man. It's and it's coming before we even know it, which is pretty incredible. A lot of good games coming out the first half of this year.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move on since for some reason that
it's telling you to move on from that clip.
Yeah, the trailer screwed up. It just wouldn't play anymore. I need I don't know why OBS is giving me tonight, but we're gonna move on.
It's cool.
We had a Nintendo Direct yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Shout out to Nintendo, because whenever they do a Direct, they seem to not disappoint. I think it was a pretty good Direct. So a few games I was interested in. I thought they did a shadow drop of Metroid Prime Remastered, which two shockers there. One shocker, the price was $40 and not $60. That was a shocker. The other shocker was it was an actual remaster and not just a touched up straight port of the original version. But that it was shadow dropped is also the third, like the biggest surprise there. So we can talk about Zelda and its price separately.
Yeah, sure.
I saw a couple games I was interested in. What about you, man? What did you like from the Nintendo Direct? Or did you like it at all?
Oh, I loved it. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It was good. I like the fact that we're finally getting Advance Wars 1 and 2 combination remake. We're finally getting that. They finally put some time, some dates and stuff on that. That was really cool. The Bayonetta Origins actually looks really cool. I like the gameplay mechanic from Over the Top and give you another point of view of playing that game from it. Then it gives you more of the origin stories of what would happen with Bayonetta becoming a witch. I really thought that was I knew it was something coming, but I didn't expect what I saw. So that was really cool. And being a person that has the Nintendo online plus expansion pass, being able to get the Mario Kart's the reason I bought a Switch. Being able to get those new tracks and everything that's coming out is really, really cool. I know for people like you, the Fire Emblem stuff, they announced new emblems that were coming.
Which to me is like the game literally just came out.
But hey, man, who cares about not having more content?
I mean, look, I haven't finished my playthrough with Three Houses, Golden Deer. I'm halfway through, and I'm getting to the good stuff because, like, if you played Fire Emblem before Three Houses, when you do the other houses or the other routes, the first half of that playthrough is a lot of stuff you already seen. There's certain lords or trying to betray, like all the story beats or things you've seen. You've just seen it from a different perspective, from different people who are now have the OP Blythe in their corner, and how like the slight changes there. But once you get halfway, the story completely changes to events happening that didn't happen in other playthroughs. And now I'm at that point now, and so like now it's getting really good. So I probably would finish it in the next week, and then I can finally jump into Engage for the first time. So I haven't even touched Engage yet, and they've already talking about DLC that.
Yeah, I know. Ain't that something?
Let's get to what people want to talk about.
Yeah, what they want to talk about, man.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Such a great name.
Game is going to be $70 at retail.
Sure is.
Now, I'm gonna repeat what I've always said about this. Value is subjective. It's the same thing that I said when people were trying to go after 2K for pricing NBA 2K at $70, for EA for pricing Madden and FIFA at $70, for PlayStation for pricing all their first party games at $70. I'm gonna say it with this. Value is subjective. You're gonna have people who don't care that this is technically mid-generation for the Switch. And there is literally no technical or artistic reason why this game should be $10 more than Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay.
Yes, value is subjective, and yeah, and player in the house, quality is subjective. Yes, it is. Quality is subjective. That said, this is typical Nintendo. What you gonna do? Not buy the game? See, this is what they know. They know that like the game gonna sell out. They know it.
Yeah, they do.
They know it's gonna sell out. They know they're probably gonna sell like 25 million copies of the game before the year.
They do.
So
they definitely know that.
They're like, why sell 25 million copies at $60 a pop when we can sell 25 million at $70?
That's true.
Typical economics says that like the higher a price is, the less it sells, and that's fairly consistent. Period. Like if you go to, if you go into your GameStop, Forte, I walk in and let's say you guys are selling your own branded GameStop headset,
which they do.
They do. What's it called?
Atrix.
That's you guys make that?
Yes.
Is it good?
It actually is pretty good. They got some pretty. The AX 1250s are really good, and if you want wired ones, the 1150s are really good. And they have warranties on it where if anything happens to it, I believe within 90 days, they just replace it. You don't have to have warranties on it.
Now let's say
pretty cool. Cheap too.
You said Atrix?
Atrix. Anything called Atrix is GameStop owned.
Okay, so let's say I walk in and I see this Atrix headset.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say it's $5.
Yep.
The $5 headset.
Okay.
And it's of high quality, you're probably gonna get a lot of people to buy it, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But let's say it's $500.
Okay.
Does it matter how good the quality is?
Absolutely.
Well, no. I would say at $500, it could be the best headset in the entire store, but it's $500. Some people are just not going to buy it.
No, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it.
So price matters. But when it comes to it, depending on the brand and the IP, I think Nintendo learned with Breath of the Wild, $60 wasn't enough.
Yep, they sure did.
They looked at that attach rate. We got an attach rate that's higher than the actual Switch. There's more Breath of the Wild copies sold than the Switch itself.
Yep, they sold more copies of Breath of the Wild the day it came out than they sold Switches.
Messed up. Could have sold this way more than this. And so I think they literally looked at it and was like, no, we could take more from you. And in that case, like from a business standpoint, can you blame Nintendo? But from a gamer standpoint, you gotta be out your damn. That game is going. You know this game ain't gonna run at a consistent frame rate.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Hold on. How is it?
Matter.
Okay, so it matters when Forspoken doesn't run.
No.
But it doesn't matter when Zelda doesn't run.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, for the people that you're talking about, doesn't matter.
They just don't care.
They don't care.
Which look, I know they don't care.
What did Pokemon do? Wasn't this last Pokemon one of the worst running Pokemon games
worst
ever?
made games last year, period.
And what happened with that game?
It's so like crazy. What's it called? What's the developer called? Game Freak? Is that them? Game Freak?
I forget who makes the Pokemon games.
Get the freak out of here with that.
All I know is people even complained about how terrible the performance in that game was, but still continued to play it. Didn't bring it back didn't return it at the store. Didn't do a Cyberpunk 2077. Didn't do refunds online on Steam like Forspoken. They just kept their game.
Nintendo just
and they played
somehow, like since the Switch came out, Nintendo is immune to this stuff. They're just immune to normal consumer reactions that happen with literally every other company out there. Ubisoft couldn't pull that crap.
No, they couldn't.
Sony can't pull that crap. My Xbox can't pull that crap. But Nintendo can do that. Can literally give you nothing better hardware-wise. Hardware that isn't as powerful as hardware that we've had since 2013. Over a decade. This is some obsolete garbage. Your cell phone is more powerful than you.
Yeah, you're right. And the
but they still like, yeah, we're gonna charge you more though.
Yeah, but do you okay? So I want to go back to the conversation I had with you for a second on Brap yesterday, where I talked about, it's not Nintendo that sees their product as the premium product; it's the consumer. Consumers are speaking. They are speaking with their wallet.
I still contend it's a level of ignorance.
Oh, it could be. Well,
the vast majority of the people who are going to buy this game, just like the vast majority of the people that bought Breath of the Wild, don't even know what frame rate is.
Exactly.
So but that's ignorance. All they know is like, man, this it gets kind of slow and herky jerky and a slideshow. every now and then, but it's
slow-mo up until 2021, all console gamers were pretty much like that for the most part. A majority of them, at least, because they didn't know what 60 frames per second truly was. They didn't know what a state. They didn't know what a no. Oh yeah, there's a hardcore for Nintendo too. But the only difference is the hardcore for Nintendo probably only have a Nintendo. Compared to me, you, Luca, Persona, Jay Barry, even Blandrew, for God's sakes, has other consoles. He don't have just a Switch. But the people that play on Switch, only on Switch, that's the only thing they know. They got it for their kids, or it's the fact that Nintendo has been grandfathered in to always having the ability to sell their consoles to the lowest denominator when it comes to families, because they have the market cornered when it comes to family interactive gaming.
Look, I just like my son is, or he's been kind of search around this. I got him for his birthday. His birthday is second. He's wanting the Switch.
Oh Lord, here we go.
And I was gonna give him a regular Switch because I don't think he's responsible enough to not get those Joy-Cons broken or lost. But I did get him a Switch Lite, and for some reason the blue Switch Lite is like the hardest one to find.
It is. You should have just went ahead and got him a regular Switch.
What? No, because he's not. I'm not buying.
Let me ask you
Joy-Cons.
No, let me ask you something, Slow-Mo. Where you get it from? Where you get it from?
Well, you always get like real emotional.
No, I'm not getting emotional. I just want to know where you bought it from. Seriously. Best Buy?
Why you immediately?
I'm just asking. Why would you answer the question? Where'd you get it from?
Why you immediately go to Best Buy?
Because you buy everything. Anything. Because you buy everything from Best Buy. It's like Best Buy got a hold on you. It's like my credit card's calling me.
I didn't go to Best Buy.
Amazon. Where'd you go?
Keep naming places, man.
I don't want to keep naming the show. We don't want the show to go past that much longer.
Wow, I don't think.
Where'd you get it from? Where'd you get it from? Okay, Walmart, Target.
No.
Did you actually get it from GameStop?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Look.
Take it back. Take it back. Was it brand new?
Yeah.
Take it back.
Why?
Buy him a regular Switch. Seriously.
Why?
Pay $100 more. Because guess what, Slow-Mo? You know those Joy-Cons that are attached to that system?
Yeah.
Those Joy-Cons will go out no matter what. No matter what your kid does, they will go out. So why not have the ability to switch out your Joy-Cons and get warranty separate on the Joy-Cons, and then you can just switch them out in store and you don't have to worry about ever having to buy Joy-Cons again?
Because
versus if you buy him a Switch Lite.
If I buy him a regular Switch, he will lose those Joy-Cons before the Switch Lite Joy-Cons go.
Okay, well, did you buy a warranty on that Switch Lite, sir? Please tell me you did.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, well, we'll talk later. But if you didn't, it's a huge mistake because Nintendo out here know that stuff's gonna be broke.
I had a point I was trying to get to before you went into this retailer jealousy phase that you just.
It wasn't. I named every retailer but GameStop. How do you think you would have bought from GameStop?
I got him that, and I got him a Kirby game.
Which one? Forgotten Land?
Yeah.
Nice. $60, huh? Shout out to you. Right.
He actually found that. He found the game.
You told him it was yours?
Yeah, I did. He was like, Daddy, this Kirby. And his eyes got all big, and I was like, it's mine.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh, okay. So I'm like, yeah.
Player, they turned that off across the whole company. So you can only do 10 if you want to get like currency. You can only do you can do $10 now. You can't do the $5 anymore. They done caught up to the game. They was like, we ain't gonna keep giving y'all $5 currencies free every month. So if you want to get half off $10, you can do that. You can't just get the $5 anymore.
Well, anyway, I was the reason why I brought that up was that look, that's where the capital at kids out there.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And there's a lot like I look at like he has an Xbox Series. Well, like he plays Roblox. It's the Roblox.
Facts.
That's all he plays on.
As it should be.
He's definitely going to use this way more than he uses Xbox. He's going to play Kirby. I already know he's going to want Mario Kart. Already know he's going to want Splatoon. And I already know that he's going to want Zelda. So
your kid's going to be into Zelda like that?
He saw Breath of the Wild before. So not the new one, but he wants to play Breath of the Wild, which
right.
I don't know if he's really going to be into it like that because he's never really been the super. I don't know if he's going to really care about it, but like I'm never going to deter him. Whatever avenues in gaming, I never want him to be like, yeah, no, you gotta play shooters like me. You gotta play all the RPGs I play just because you don't know. Do whatever you want.
Play whatever you want, man.
Yeah, it's up to a degree. Like some stuff you can't play. I want him to try new things. Gaming. But more than likely, he's gonna grow up and he's gonna have different game taste than I do. That's fine. Anyway, we can move on. Price. The price thing. I'm sure you don't care because you bought like the super deluxe Hyrule Master Sword edition. That's like $5,000.
$129.99.
I'm not playing it. I don't care about. I don't like Zelda. Zelda's overrated. So I've never cared.
You can kick rocks, sir. Kick him.
We can get
it's already what game of the year.
It probably. Oh yeah, that's a bet. Not because it deserves it, but because we know how this works, and we know how this stuff works, and when you are Nintendo and you drop this kind of game, it's a foregone conclusion you're going to be game of the year. Like it's already done. Everyone else is just fighting to get nominated in the same category. So
that is true.
Last topic, man.
Last topic.
Boy. So man, there's a lot of hurt people out here today, man. This week has been a roller coaster for a lot of people, and especially Xbox fans with this Microsoft Activision Blizzard King acquisition deal. And so what looks like what is going to go down is, well, the CMA came out with a warning, a statement that they were formally having an issue, formally coming out with an issue with the ABK acquisition, and they outlined a set of remedies, some structural and then some behavioral. And I've only read the 15-page document. I do not have access, nor do I want to have access to the 200-page document. I really don't care. I really wish this stuff would be over. I want for this deal to either get canceled and they quit, or it get approved, get it the freak over with, because I'm tired of hearing about it. I only talk about it when stuff like this comes up, when something actual real developments come up. And too often the people have been talking about, like, man, Phil Spencer farted about it, and let's talk about this Activision deal. And I'm just like, but so real quick, we'll talk about these remedies that Microsoft has to convince the CMA of, and actually get together and get it done in order to get this deal through. Now, the structural ones are very interesting, because the structural ones, the very first one was sell Call of Duty, which
Mhm.
I'm like, huh? Sell Call of
I said the same thing.
because like you can't just sell that IP, like because there's like 9 studios under Activision that barely get Call of Duty out on an annual basis. Like if you play Call of Duty, you know it's got its issues at launch. It's got all kinds, still got issues now. People are not happy with certain things. They take modes out. They took the third person mode out, didn't tell nobody nothing, and then just put it back in ran. Like we don't know if it was a mistake. If it was something they were trying to fix. We don't know anything. We don't know why they took it out, but they took it out. And it's just like, what's happening here? You know, like it's wild. And that's with 9 studios dropping an annual release of COD every year, as well as maintaining a live service game that needs new expansion level kind of content and changes that keep the kind of demographic that are into the kind of games as a service games engaged all the time, so that they don't go to Apex Legends or Fortnite or whoever else to get the fix. So if you're going to sell Call of Duty, you're not just selling the IP, because like you're going to have to sell those 9 studios and all of the engine and all the technology to make the game with it, because the IP cannot be like, look, one, selling the IP would cost tens of billions of dollars. That's what it would, right? And then who can have just 9 studios ready to go and start working on this game? Nobody. Like maybe what, Ubisoft?
Maybe.
Like, but then no one would trust Ubisoft with the IP. The COD community wouldn't trust Ubisoft with the IP, and their random 9 studios that have never touched the IP before don't know it. And they wouldn't be able to get a game ready within the next like 4 years. So you're looking at like an IP that as soon as you bought it at the height that it's at right now, it will be depreciating in value as soon as you acquired it. You need to get the other studios plus all the technology. And I don't know who would be willing to kind of take that on. I'm pretty sure lots of publishers would love to have all the revenue that's generated from COD, but to actually maintain it, can you manage it and not screw it up?
Oh, that's the $1 billion word right there.
Right. That's the part of it that I think makes it like a non-starter for selling the IP. So I think that's out. I don't think that's going to happen. Plus, I think major reason why Microsoft is even doing this is because they want Call of Duty. So selling it kind of defeats the purpose. Now, the other structural remedy was selling Activision. So sell Activision, keep Blizzard, keep King. Or separating Activision out so Activision becomes its own entity on its own. And then there's Blizzard and King that you actually acquire. Now, I don't know if they decide to go that route, if there's a renegotiation on this $69 billion, because clearly Blizzard and all this IP, King, ain't worth $69 billion.
That's true.
So it goes from being a price that's like, I guess, reasonable. I don't know. I've never spent $69 billion. A price that's reasonable to a price that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But if you could like negotiate it so that that's not in the equation. I mean, can Activision really survive on its own without King's revenue? I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably because they got Call of Duty Mobile that makes a ton of money. Activision should probably be fine. But then again, it goes back to Microsoft didn't enter in this. I mean, they kind of like Activision approached them about this, but they took this on because they wanted Call of Duty, and selling Activision is you're not taking Call of Duty. So anyway, then they said another one was sell Blizzard and keep COD or something like that. No, was it sell Blizzard and only keep King? And then I don't know. Okay, I'll have to look it up again.
It's just all weird.
Those are the structural remedies. Now, the behavioral remedy is clearly what they would have gone after, and something that they've already attempted to use to kind of soothe some of the anger out here, and has not worked so far. But they said that, you know, they're less likely to grow with a behavioral remedy over a structural remedy.
Right.
But essentially, I think the only behavioral remedy that could even get remotely close to being considered is get just a 10-year deal for COD. You're gonna need to do a 10-year deal for literally everything that Blizzard does as well.
That's true.
But it's they mentioned how the behavioral remedy is not preferred because of the whole cloud gaming thing, which is part of the reason why Nvidia is even opposing the deal with Sony and Google, and it's because of GeForce Now, their cloud service. Probably what they would like to have is I think they would take a 10-year deal, have COD guaranteed now. But
yeah, I agree with that.
Who knows? Regardless, there are a lot of people out here who are pretending to be analysts, pretending to be lawyers. That's not what y'all do, bro. And look, that's not what I do either. I'm a network engineer. I don't know anything about this crap, okay? So I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I'm just gonna tell you that, like, I hear people say it's definitely gonna go through. Don't worry about it. And then I'm seeing people just saying it's definitely done. It's not happening. It's over. And it's just like, you know, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't really care. I just wanted to end. But to me, this does not look like Xbox is winning it. To me, this looks like Sony's campaigns have worked pretty well.
Oh yeah.
And all these regulators are like, no, those Sony guys, they're just trying to they're just trying to get their business going. Here's a big bad Microsoft is over here trying to throw their money around, trying to throw their weight around. That's sad. Yeah, how could we do that to Sony? So thanks, guys. Jim Ryan came in, gave us some cookies. He gave me a nice little back rub. He dropped some paperwork down, so
God dang.
He let me know what the gaming industry is like, and I like the guy. I like his accent too. He's a nice guy. Yeah. Microsoft guys gotta get together, and it's just like, whether that's really, I'm joking around, like, but that's really happening, and that doesn't matter. The point is that, like, they ain't winning. They're not winning this. Okay, it's not looking good. Okay, and I think I'm gonna say what I think is gonna happen, and then Forte, you can take it from here. I think they're gonna try to do a 10-year deal, and I think Sony's gonna be like, what happens after 10 years?
That's what they did the first time.
I don't think that's gonna work for us. And the regulators are gonna hear Sony say that. Look at Microsoft and said that's not gonna work for them. So about selling COD, and so I think that's where it's just not gonna work for Microsoft, is that they don't want to sell COD. They want COD. They want COD for Game Pass. That's like their biggest thing. That, and they want to have a big presence in the mobile market. So
yeah.
What are your thoughts, man?
So I have two thoughts of this. I think at some point Microsoft has to. We always said, and you, everybody always said this. It's not about COD. It's about King. That's the biggest part that they want. Of course, they want to have COD so they can put it in Game Pass, because that definitely helps change the narrative of where Xbox is when it comes to their games, and it can also just bring in residual income and get people into Game Pass, because it's an awesome way to tell people like, hey, you want to spend $70 for COD, or do you want to just come into Game Pass and get it? So that's always going to be the thing. But I do think at some point Microsoft, their feet are going to be put to the fire, and they're going to say, do you really care that much about COD to the point where you won't get King and you won't get Blizzard if you don't sell or separate off and, you know, let COG be its own thing? Now, ultimately what will happen though is if Activision can't live on its own without the revenue that comes from King and subsidiarity that comes from Activision on top of that, where will COD be after that? Would that be a situation where they would have to like get purchased or something like that? Does that open up the door for somebody else to pick them up? Somebody like Sony on the other hand, because that is definitely something that can happen on the outset too. I just think in general, Microsoft just has to, they played fast and loose with this for quite some time now, talking about how it's not been about this, it's not been about that. So I do think at a certain point, they're going to kind of force them to make a decision on this. And I always said, it's not going to be that Sony's going to win this fight, because I think Microsoft can fight this fight indefinitely if they want to, because the regulators aren't going to tell them no. They're just going to keep giving them reasons of why if they want this to go through, these are the concessions, these are the behavior, or these are the ones that we need you to do in order for us to approve this deal.
I slightly disagree.
Go ahead.
I think Sony wins regardless, and here's why. If Microsoft is able to get this deal approved, it's going to be approved with so many concessions that it's going to guarantee that Sony has everything but the marketing.
No, I agree with that. No.
So they're not going to lose Call of Duty. And the CMA has some report that says like they think 24% of the PlayStation COD community would go to Xbox if it's exclusive, but it's not going to be. So, like, they're not going to lose anything. If anything, they're going to get some assurances that they won't lose. And then if it doesn't get approved, then they just prevented their not only did they get their biggest competitor tied up with a deal that fell through for a full year, they also stopped them from acquiring other things that could have been actually approved in that year span, and probably scared them off from trying to get any other big publisher, because this whole scenario would start all over again if they went after like Take-Two or EA, anyone of that level. So it's just like, I think Sony wins either way.
Well, no, see, I agree with that. When I mean that they win, I'm talking about it's not going to be the regulators aren't going to sigh and come out and say we're not saying this deal could go through. It's not going to be, because I think it's just because either Microsoft is going to say they're either going to give up and they're not going to fight this fight no more, which in the case Sony does win. I mean, they do win, but I'm just saying it's not going to be the regulators that's going to say, Sony, you win. You know, we're not going to push this deal through, because their job isn't to stop the deal. Their job is to make sure that concessions are made, to make sure that the deal is palatable to all parties involved. So I just think it always comes back to, how long does Microsoft want to fight this fight? Do they want to fight this fight? Because they can do it indefinitely. And they can but how much money do you want? I mean, at a certain point, how much more money do you want?
I think they've already taken L's here, and here's why.
Yeah.
Here's why. If they weren't tied up with this, if they didn't see dollar signs when Activision came calling, they probably would have Crystal Dynamics and Tomb Raider and Eidos Montreal right now, the studios that they, in addition to probably Asobo Studios that makes the Microsoft Flight Simulator and Plague's Tale games. You probably would have them too. They basically didn't do those things because they wanted to appear as if like meek to the regulators and not try to give Sony more ammo. Or look, like they're trying to buy the whole industry. Look, they just got these guys and these guys, but they could have got, if they weren't tied up with this, they could have got in 50 IP in 3 studios for 300 million.
Yeah. I mean, this is a bigger.
Embracer is right now flipping just one IP out of that 50 for double what they paid for all of it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like two of those 3 studios are working as co-development studios on games. Like, they missed the golden opportunity.
I think that's
good quality studios. Dynamics is a good studio. So is
I think one of those studios will end up there whenever this is all said and done. But so let me ask you this. So Foot to Fire, what happens with this deal? Even with all this being said, what do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to quit.
Oh, you think they're going to quit? So you think this is just going to be everything? They're just going to pay the concession fee to Activision Blizzard,
$3 billion, and
$3 billion, and they're just going to walk away?
And they're going to try to jump on some of the other stuff that they've had on hold, waiting for this to get done. I think if they can't get it done by the time period that they wanted it done by, which was like midsummer, then they're just going to bow out on it. I think they're going to offer everything to everyone 10 years. Call of Duty, any new IP they're working on, typically, like they said before, anything new that exists, the Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. But like the existing stuff would stay on other platforms. No, I think they're gonna offer everything. That's Overwatch 5 or Diablo 7 or whatever the heck that survival game that they're so hyped for. All that stuff. They're gonna offer it to all the PlayStation.
So that's the last hurrah.
Steam, GeForce Now, cloud, any other cloud service want to get in on this, they can get in on it. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna everyone get a piece for 10 years. But after 10 years, they ain't going no further than that. And that's still not going to be enough. And by midsummer, they're just going to drop this. Because they're going to have to renegotiate the deal
with Activision.
Because the proposed deal expires, I think, in July. So, they're going to have to renegotiate. Yeah, all the new information they got right now, and the fact that their share price has changed. Yeah, that could be where this deal falls apart. It's not done yet, and with new information and everything, it may not get done.
So that's the other part of this. Deal has to get restruck with PlayStation when this is all said and done. What happens if this deal doesn't go through? What happens in that negotiation?
Say that one more time.
So PlayStation still has a deal with Activision for at least another 2 Call of Duties.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because look, Activision has been out here talking like
what happened after that with the way that Activision has been talking.
I think Activision's bluffing right now. Activision is talking like Sony has irreparably damaged the relationship with them, and that might mean something towards negotiations in 2025. I think that's just a bluff to get them to back off, which is I think Sony's going to call that bluff. I don't think Sony really cares. Like, you're not going to get them to back off from this. If them backing off from this, it means you're owned by Microsoft. Like, I'm not getting your marketing rights then anyway. So
that's what I'm saying.
But I think when it comes down to it, they'll take whoever offers them the most money. And I think if this deal falls through, and Microsoft, you got your $70 billion back. Get that $70 billion to good use. Do what Sony been doing, getting time to getting big marketing rights for big games. Whatever Sony offers, double it. Because you're Microsoft. And they can't outbid you. The only way they outbid you is if you don't know there's a bid for something, or you let them. Because your company is worth like 20 times what they're worth. And you've got way more liquid money than they do. Literally wait for this deal to go up and be like, whatever they ask, we'll triple it. And you get the marketing deal back. In addition to those, get some regular third-party content and make it timed exclusive.
I have a question. How much would you spend to take Call of Duty off another platform for 1 year?
To make Call of Duty timed exclusive?
For 1 year. What would you do? How much would you this is the thing I always looked at. I always found this funny. They're willing to spend $79 billion to own it. What would they be willing? Just in spite, because we know we're all in the spiteful thought of every once in a while.
How much money did they make? They made like what was it, $1 billion in the first month?
The first month which is the biggest that it's going to be because of the it's always the biggest in the first year. I think it was like $4 billion for the year, if I remember correctly.
And the average, the percentage of Call of Duty players that play on PlayStation is what, like 70%?
It's like 70%.
70%.
So that means about a good $3 billion of that is probably PlayStation. Well, probably 2.5 because you got to think PC too.
Okay, so now I said in the first month they made $1 billion. So what are they making in the first year?
A year it was like 4. I think it was like $4 billion over the year.
$2.5 billion then.
I would do it.
$2.5 billion upfront
for 1 year exclusive.
To not have it on PlayStation
for one whole year.
You're gonna take a hit. You're gonna take a hit on sales. But you got a ton of money. You got $2.5 billion up front. Do whatever the heck you want with it without having to work for it. And you're still going to get that money, or at least a percentage of that money of those people when it comes out on PlayStation later.
And then guess what? And then think about how many people are going to want to play Call of Duty on your platform and buy an Xbox because it's not even available on PlayStation.
This is the route they should have took from the start and waited until the deal was up, and then entered into these kind of deals with Activision on the back end, But they wanted to own it.
They wanted to own it. I'll knock that.
And they wanted it in Game Pass, which Activision really ain't trying to do unless they got no choice because you bought them. I just kind of feel like, remember I said this a few episodes ago and people didn't like how I said it, but it's kind of like proven to be true that I was like, you look at the progression of Microsoft acquisitions in gaming and how Sony has gone from very blasé about it to super aggressive, and I likened it to someone like just coming across you, during the day and slapping you in the face. And so like when they bought Minecraft and Mojang, it was like
$2.2 billion.
Yeah, and Sony reportedly called them and was like, "Are you pulling it off the platform?" And they said, "No, we're gonna keep it everywhere. It's all good." And so that was like, Sony and Microsoft crossing paths, and they just wave at each other and go on about their day. Then they bought Cinemax Media, and were super vague on what was going to happen with those games.
Sure
the
were.
Entire time, it was going through regulators. And then as soon as it got fully approved, they said everything new will be coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. It will live where on platforms where Game Pass exists.
They were saying, that's the funny thing.
That's literally a slap in the face.
But Slow-Mo, they literally were saying that the whole. Remember, those were like the secret things they kept saying every time you would hear them talk about it.
They were very vague. No, they kept saying like, "Oh, we're not going to remove games off another platform," which is true. They didn't remove any, any existing games. Like Elder Scrolls Online is still
They
on
said
PlayStation.
legacy. They said exist. They said They said games will live where Game Pass exists. And they also kept talking about, with the exception of legacy, like the one thing everybody kept talking was the legacy title. Everybody was like, what is legacy title? Is that games that's already on a platform? Now, you're right when it came to that, but I always knew.
No. There were a ton of people like Colin Moriarty and all kinds of people that were just like, they would be dumb to take ZeniMax games off of PlayStation. They would never do that. Those games are too big. They did it.
They did it.
They said the next Starfield is not going to PlayStation. The next Elder Scrolls will not go to PlayStation. The next Fallout in 2035 will not go to PlayStation. That changed things.
Yeah, it did.
That because I think if they never acquire ZeniMax Media and then Activision comes calling and saying, hey, look, we're in a bind here. We need to just sell. We went to Facebook. Facebook said no. We're going to you next because we're just going to people who got the money to do this and allow us to run independently. But we'll just put games on whatever you want. We'll do whatever you want. Put it on wherever you want. We need to be acquired. I think if they never acquire ZeniMax Media, PlayStation wouldn't be acting like that. They already they initially set a precedent with Minecraft that they wouldn't take games off.
Right.
That nothing would change in regards to the IP that's the studio that they acquired. And then with ZeniMax Media, they changed it. And so Sony is now operating as if, I don't care what you say about a 10-year deal, a 3-year deal. At some point, you're going to take this off of our platform.
Yeah, hopefully you can build something better by the end.
Right. Oh yeah, because that's been a hole in Sony first party, PlayStation first party.
Well, because Call of Duty has been their first person crutch.
Right, and now they are without, and so now they gotta shore that up. Which, frankly, just my opinion. Listening and people could be like, "Well, Slow-Mo, you're a Destiny hater." So all right, don't take this with a grain of salt. Then I don't think Bungie is going to be given the greatest advice to their studios in regards to building live service games.
And
people will say, but look at Destiny. Yes, look at Destiny. Look at all the wrong stuff they do with Destiny, that when other studios do it, exactly what Bungie does, their games fail.
Well, I'm also going to tell you, look at Destiny, look at Bungie, and Bungie already told them that their games aren't going anywhere. They're going to stay right where they're at. So they don't even get the benefits of that. They need to get the benefits of Bungie telling their people what to do.
I mean, like, you got any thoughts on this? Matter of fact, you asked me what I thought was going to happen. What do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, oh man. So I do think this deal is still going to go through. I think it's going to go through, like you said, with some massive concessions. I do think that whole 10-year promise is going to actually be a thing. It's going to be across the board for the entire company. They're going to be making those games in perpetuity. And I do think any newer games are going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform and PC. But I do think that this deal, I think Microsoft's going to fight this deal. They're not going to give up on this deal until after E3 at the latest. I think it won't make it past this quarter, past what will be their fourth quarter, which is in June, because right now we're in their third quarter. So once we get to June, I think everything's going to crystallize for them about that time, because I do think that there is something to say about PlayStation still hasn't shown their roadmap outside of, PlayStation VR stuff that's coming out later this month. They haven't really talked about their roadmap for the second half of the year. And I do think it's really interesting that Sony's been very mum about what they have going on outside of Insomniac coming out saying that Spider-Man 2 is coming out this year. But that wasn't an official post from the official PlayStation website. That was from Insomniac, just an interview.
They need to have a conference.
But that's what I'm thinking.
Like, these state of plays are fine, but they don't feature, like, everything we know about what they're doing first parties based off of their last showcase that was over a year ago.
Over a year ago, and that's the thing, though.
They need to have another one this year.
And I do think Microsoft wants to take one more swing, because you heard about what the Activision associate came out. The lady came out and talked about The Last of Us and the TV show and all that stuff, and how they're not going to struggle because they have one of the best, adaptations to move to TV when it comes to one of their game franchises and stuff. So I do think that in some sort of way, Microsoft because they're already going to pay this $3 billion. If this $3 billion gonna get paid no matter what, I might as well hold off as long as I can. Let's see how far Sony's willing to go with not really talking about what they have cooking when it comes to like all of their third-party deals and stuff, what they got coming on the outside of what just Call of Duty is going to bring. Because I do think that's the only avenue they have into kind of conversing the regulators and saying, well, Sony's not as bad off as they really make it out to be. They're actually pretty well off because they got a lot of other stuff cooking.
Right.
So
they got that subpoena. They subpoenaed Sony for their proof.
Their proof.
Of the things that they said to the FTC. I think Sony. I think that was smart because Sony is definitely bluffing with some of that stuff, but it's a smart bluff because I think they said it. And they are stalling on actually providing that documentation
because they want
because they want the CMA and EU to kill this thing before it even comes to that, which is it's a smart bluff to go with, and we'll see what happens.
And that's why I keep saying this bluff ultimately comes down to if Microsoft is willing to withstand it and keep fighting it until they have no choice to do it. Because like I said, the regulators aren't going to turn this down. They're going to keep trying to come up with a way, because their job isn't to turn it down. Their job is to come up with the concessions to make sure that it's a fair deal for everybody. So they're going to keep, if Microsoft fights this, it keeps fighting, Sony's going to have to turn over that stuff sooner or later. And then if the regulators still, after they turn this stuff over, are saying, yeah, we still don't think this will be a really good move and this and that, blah, blah, blah. We're still looking for all these different concessions. Then I see that's when Microsoft turns it in. Once that happens, I think they turn it in then if they can't make any headway then. But I do think that might have a dramatic look or feel of what this whole scenario, because right now Microsoft is just fighting an uphill battle. It just feels like they're being hit from all fronts. And they really don't have it's like they have a game plan, but the game plan is sinking like the 49ers chances when their quarter
right now, the other day. I don't care what happens in August. I don't want to talk about this no more. I want this to be done by August, whether it is the deal's been approved or the deal's been denied. I want one of those things to be the headline for like an entire week and a half in July. So by August, we can get back to just talking about games. And that's it. So I mean that's my last word on it. I think we can. I think we kind of had a good, nice little discussion about that, man. Let's get up out of here, bro. What are you working on, sir? What you got cooking in the oven? Let the fine people know where to find you, man.
Oh man, been working on a couple of different things. Got stuff going on with the main channel with Destiny and stuff over there. Working on, so I went out and got some assets and stuff done because I definitely do like talking about the gaming stuff when it comes to the Xbox and PlayStation stuff. Just don't want to do it on the main channel when it comes to video form. So I'm working on assets to make a second channel just for that stuff. As soon as it's up, I'll let you guys know exactly where it is, so you go over there and sub to it and everything. That's where all that stuff's going to live for the most part. But just working on a bunch of stuff on the back end and doing that, playing games, and wanting this Activision thing to be over with. But other than that, man, great show, Slow-Mo. Really appreciate the hard work you put in, and always. And you already know where you can follow me at Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. And DPS next week on my channel for episode 121. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I do. Let me apologize. I was supposed to continue on the Dead Space live stream, part 3 of that.
You still ain't. So bad. No. I shut up. You said part 3, and I was quiet. Sorry.
Yeah, like what are you talking? Like you literally saw me do 2 parts. I fulfilled my
you're right.
obligation. I said I was
you're
going to
right.
continue it on.
You're right.
and I was going to do it last weekend, but just wasn't in the cards. So too much stuff popped up, and too much I had to do. This weekend though, I'm not gonna have any kids.
Woo! You gonna have a wife though?
Yeah.
She gonna be at home with you?
Yeah, but like not in my face the whole time. So like, it's
you make sure she need to make sure she in your face the whole time.
well, definitely that because this is her.
Because kids ain't home, man.
This
know
is her weekend to work in the hospital. So like, I'm literally gonna be here by myself. So yeah, I'm Forte. Can you not yell in your microphone like that? Because definitely kill people.
I did. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Probably Saturday. I'll do part 3, and we'll see what happens. But still working on videos. You'll see some of that content real soon. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Shout out to all you fine people out here, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, which is almost over. Play some games, man. I know this is supposed to be a gaming community. I don't know if they play games or not, man. They do a lot of talking about games, but I think their time in Twitter Spaces
I haven't clipped their gaming time.
might exceed their actual time in gaming, but it is what it is. Enjoy your games, and we will see you guys next time on Forte's channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Thursday. And we out, man. Peace.
Peace.
Eyes of Guardian.
Wipe yourself off, man. You did.